What happens when someone survives what should have erased them from existence? For Jamie Foxx, survival was never accidental. Forged in hardship and sharpened by relentless struggle, he is not simply a Hollywood star, but a force shaped by challenges few could endure. He carried the soul of Ray Charles in Ray, stared fate in the face in Collateral, and became Django, reshaping what it means to be a cinematic hero. Few artists have crossed so many worlds with such authority, commanding laughter as a comedian, piercing hearts as a singer, and leaving a legacy etched into both Oscar and Grammy history. His rise did not begin in comfort or ease, but in abandonment. In a small Texas town where a boy left by his parents learned early that life offered nothing for free. From church pews and gospel hymns to discipline and musical rigor in his grandmother's modest home, he climbed to a place that had never been promised. This was not luck. This was resilience born under force, genius forged through struggle. That fire was tested again at the edge of mortality when a sudden stroke struck without warning, nearly ending his life. Jamie Foxx disappeared behind hospital walls as applause collapsed into prayer. Rumors of death circulating while he remained suspended between breath and darkness. Then came another cruel twist. 20 days of memory erased, moments gone forever. A shadow no recovery could fully lift. Few return from such an abyss. He did, scarred and shaken, but unbroken. A reminder that even the brightest flame can flicker close to extinction and still ignite again. Early life in Texas. It is a cruel beginning when a child enters the world without the shelter of love. Jamie Foxx, born Eric Marlon Bishop on December 13, 1967, in Terrell, Texas, learned that absence could define a life as much as presence. His father, Daryl Bishop, slowly stepped away from his life, while his mother, Louise Annette Talley, faded from daily presence until she was no longer there at all. By 7 months, he was placed into the care of his grandmother, Estelle Marie Talley, a woman of unshakable faith and iron discipline. Her modest working-class home offered no comfort of excess, only order, belief, and expectation. Estelle believed structure could save a child from chaos, and she enforced it with a resolve that allowed no weakness. Jamie would later say, "My grandmother was the strongest person I have ever known. She gave me discipline, but she also gave me music." In that house, discipline was not punishment, it was protection. Music was not a lesson, it was survival. That survival was etched into endless hours at the piano, where his small fingers struggled through Bach and Beethoven while other boys ran freely through open fields. Each wrong note was corrected, each mistake repeated until precision was carved into muscle and memory. The piano became both burden and refuge, demanding everything while giving him the only voice he had, the loneliness behind the laughter. Yet the pain of absence never loosened its grip. Birthdays came without a mother's embrace. School performances ended without a father's applause. Games finished with empty seats where pride and encouragement should have been waiting. Jamie would later remember scanning the stands, hoping someone might arrive late, knowing no one would. Humor became his armor. "I told jokes so people wouldn't see the loneliness," he admitted. Beneath the laughter lived a child who learned endurance long before he learned applause. Through gospel music, piano practice, and his grandmother's discipline, Jamie built a foundation that would carry him far beyond Terrell, Texas, even as the wounds of absence left scars that would never fully heal. Building discipline through music. During the 1970s, adolescence brought its own tests. Jamie was never without food or shelter, thanks to his grandmother, but he lived with a deeper poverty, the absence of parental presence, reassurance, or being chosen. Yet something formidable began to form. Gospel music gave him soul. The piano taught him precision. His grandmother's strict hand carved resilience into his bones. Even laughter, first used to shield his wounds, became a tool that would open doors far beyond Texas. Looking back, Jamie Foxx's childhood stands as a painful paradox. deprived of love, yet armed with the very tools that would make him unstoppable. From that fractured beginning, he emerged not broken, but shaped, carrying discipline, resilience, and a fire powerful enough to take him where few ever reach: the leap into entertainment. The stage promised light, but also delivered lessons in pain. Music had been his refuge, but by the 1980s, Jamie's hunger stretched beyond concert halls. At United States International University in San Diego, he immersed himself in classical music and composition, mastering discipline while secretly craving something more dangerous: the raw electricity of a crowd, the chance to transform pain into presence. That hunger pulled him into the smoky comedy clubs of Los Angeles, where hope lined up for hours and dignity could be stripped away in minutes. Comedy was combat. Unknown performers waited endlessly, praying for a microphone that might never come. To survive, Eric Marlon Bishop shed his birth name and became Jamie Foxx. "I chose Jamie because it could be a man or a woman," he later recalled. "I needed every chance I could get." It was not a gimmick, but a rebirth, born from necessity, not confidence. The grind of early career. Behind the glow of stage lights, the grind was merciless. There were no mentors to soften the blows, no connections to open doors. Jamie stood alone, armed only with jokes sharpened by desperation and timing carved from fear. Some nights, laughter erupted, lifting his heart. Other nights, the room turned cold, and failure fell like a blade. When the jokes failed, he later admitted, "It felt like I could disappear right there." In those moments, memories returned. His grandmother's voice demanding discipline, the piano bench that allowed no shortcuts, the rule that effort was the only currency he owned. Each rejection became a wound, each wound a lesson. The boy who once practiced Bach alone was now performing symphonies of survival through punchlines. Yet the paradox remained. He made strangers laugh while hiding his own loneliness, earning applause while fearing he would never be seen fully. Breaking through. In 1991, persistence cracked the door open. Jamie Foxx joined In Living Color, bringing his fire beyond dim clubs and into living rooms across America. Millions finally laughed with him, not just the tired crowds of midnight rooms. But success carried its own burden. Hollywood labeled him a comedian and tried to keep him there. Throughout the 1990s, he fought to be taken seriously. Every audition became a trial, every role a plea for respect. From 1996 to 2001, The Jamie Foxx Show proved his range and staying power, but the hunger remained. He was still fighting to be seen fully, not partially. Those years were never gilded. They were forged in rejection, sharpened by indifference, and driven by a refusal to vanish. Out of closed doors, Jamie built resilience. Out of doubt, he forged brilliance. And out of unforgiving comedy clubs, a legend emerged. Scarred by the climb, unbroken by the fall, destined to rise far beyond expectation. Hollywood and critical acclaim. So when Hollywood finally crowned Jamie Foxx, the eruption of applause felt unreal, followed by a quiet that cut far deeper. In 2004, he became Ray Charles in Ray, dissolving the line between man and legend, winning an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and a BAFTA. That same year, Collateral brought a second Oscar nomination, a rare feat that confirmed his arrival at the summit of cinema. From a boy once dismissed as just a comedian, he had climbed to heights few could imagine. But the triumph was tempered by an acute awareness. Standing on the pinnacle, the weight of expectation pressed heavily on his shoulders. The Oscar felt like both a crown and a chain. Facing professional setbacks, the world applauded, but the industry could be merciless. Stealth, a $135 million gamble, returned only $79 million worldwide. Headlines spread faster than applause. Jamie had seen this before. Success followed by judgment, the pressure to never fail again. The sharpest wound wasn't in reviews, but in recognition. He had lived through rejection, yet Hollywood demanded perfection. Nights dissolved into mornings. Every script became a verdict, every decision a test. He refused to let failure define him. He answered with range and resolve, singing heartbreak and defiance in Dreamgirls, carrying vengeance and liberation in Django Unchained, radiating danger in Baby Driver, and embodying moral gravity in Just Mercy. Alongside acting, his music soared, with a Grammy for Blame It and global hits that cemented his status as a multi-talented artist. Nothing was given, everything was earned, fought for, and claimed back from doubt, exhaustion, and fear. The personal struggles of family. Even at the peak of success, personal life demanded a different kind of resilience. Before Hollywood ever lifted him to its summit, life had tested him with love that promised permanence and quietly slipped away. In the early 1990s, long before fame became a household word, Jamie met Connie Klein, a woman removed from the spotlight, whose calm presence offered him the possibility of home. Their love unfolded quietly, and in 1994, it bore fruit with the birth of his first daughter, Karen. Jamie's hands shook as he held her, grounding him more than any stage ever could. In that moment, he silently vowed, "I will never leave you." Karen became his anchor, giving him a reason to fight harder. Lessons of parenthood. Yet love, even pure, bends under reality. Career demands created space between Jamie and Connie, slowly widening into quiet distance. There was no scandal, only erosion. He faced the fear of repeating his own childhood traumas, the absence he had carried all his life. "I feared marriage," he later admitted, "because I never wanted my kids to be scarred by its collapse." Connie chose privacy, raising Karen away from the industry noise, but Jamie refused to retreat. Presence became his promise over perfection. Birthdays, school recitals, and ordinary moments mattered more than headlines. And in that devotion, fatherhood endured where romantic love had faltered. Karen's later reflection, "My father has always been my biggest protector," spoke volumes about quiet commitment forged in experience and hardship. The second miracle. 14 years after Karen's birth, life offered another fragile miracle. In 2008, Jamie welcomed his second daughter, Annalise. By then, he had collected everything the world celebrates: an Oscar, a Grammy, global admiration. Yet none of it could fill the quiet ache that accompanied him off stage. What he longed for was simple: a family untouched by expectation, a home where applause did not matter. Kristen Grannis offered that calm, a sanctuary outside Hollywood's noise. When he held Annalise for the first time, memories surged back. Empty rooms, unanswered questions, the ache of abandonment he had carried for decades. In that moment, he was not an icon, not a star, but a father striving to outrun the shadow of his past, whispering a promise that no child of his would feel alone. Wrestling with the past. Childhood scars do not fade easily. The absence Jamie carried had carved deep terrors: the fear of collapse, of failing to provide a safe home, of repeating history. He wrestled constantly with these realities, recognizing that fatherhood demanded presence even when marriage could not guarantee permanence. Despite romantic loss and homes that could not fully hold, Jamie's devotion to his children never wavered. He filled spaces with attention, love, and unshakable support. Years later, Annalise would say simply, "No matter what, my father was always there." Cameras captured the smiles but never the empty chairs that stood witness to his lifelong struggle to protect and nurture. Triumph in adversity. Jamie Foxx's life, in its entirety, reads as a testament to endurance. From abandonment to discipline, from piano keys to stage lights, from comedy clubs to Oscar stages, he has built a career shaped by fire and defined by resilience. Every setback, every criticism, every perceived failure became fuel for the next ascent. Scarred, tested, and often misunderstood, He refused to vanish into obscurity. Instead, he transformed each challenge into art, turning survival into legacy and forging a life that transcends both applause and accolade. Legacy of resilience. Looking back, Jamie Foxx's story is not one of smooth ascent or guaranteed triumph. It is jagged, painful, and relentless, yet filled with moments of brilliance that shine brighter because of the darkness he endured. His legacy is not perfection. It is perseverance. The decision to stand after every fall, to turn fear into purpose, and to make each step forward a declaration that survival itself can be a masterpiece. He has endured loss, pain, and absence, yet he has built love, presence, and devotion where it mattered most. His children are living proof of that, anchors in the storm of fame and fortune, reminders that even in life's harshest trials, commitment and care can thrive. The human story. Jamie Foxx is more than awards, music, or film. He is a human story of survival, endurance, and transformation. From a boy left behind to a man who commands stages worldwide, his journey reminds us that resilience is learned in the hardest moments, that talent is sharpened in struggle, and that the love we give can outlast the love we lose. He has faced the abyss and returned, not unscathed, but stronger, ready to continue writing a life that blends brilliance with humanity. His story is not a tale of uninterrupted success, but a testament to the power of the human spirit. A reminder that no matter the scars, the fire within can continue to burn. A life lived fully. Today, at 58, Jamie Foxx continues to navigate the interplay of fame and personal life, the weight of expectation and the joy of family. Every performance, every note sung, every joke delivered carries the echo of a boy from Terrell, Texas, who learned early that survival demanded courage, focus, and heart. The shadows of childhood linger, but they no longer define him. He has transformed absence into presence, struggle into mastery, and pain into empathy. In honoring Jamie Foxx, one does not merely celebrate accolades, but the human triumph of a man who has survived against odds that should have ended him. A man whose life exemplifies resilience, dedication, and the relentless pursuit of purpose. The final reflection. Jamie Foxx's journey teaches us that greatness is not gifted, but earned through trials, perseverance, and unwavering commitment to one's vision. His legacy is not confined to screens or stages. It lives in the hearts of those who have witnessed his rise, who have felt the depth of his performances, and who have seen what it means to survive, unbroken, against life's most formidable challenges. His story is a reminder that even when the world conspires to erase us, our fire, resilience, and love can create a life that endures, inspires, and leaves a mark far beyond fame. Jamie Foxx did not just survive. He transformed every hardship into a testament to human strength, a living legacy that will echo for generations.